Spoiler Sleepover is sponsored by Willow Tree Kitchen.
Willow Tree Kitchen is a one-woman owned and operated bakery currently slinging delicious vegan cookies, mixes, and baked goods out of Kitchen Local in Amesbury, Mass.
Follow Willow Tree Kitchen _ on Instagram or go to their website at willowtreekitchen.com for more.
Greetings, ladies, gents, and our non-binary friends. Welcome to Spoiler Sleepover, part of the Nerdcamp Network. Join your hosts, Jason, Michael, and Rob, as they bring you on a slash-tastic adventure through cinema. Now, enjoy the show. It'll be a real scream of a time.
What's up, suckers? It's Jason Michael.
And Rob.
And we've just got one thing to say to you.
Happy Halloween!
That's right, folks. It's the end of the spookiest month of the year. And quite frankly, even though it's about to end in 2 days, Halloween's a state of mind. Like, Halloween is all year round. It doesn't have to be 1 month.
Yeah, buddy. We live it year round. And we're really excited because this episode, I think, is the most fitting one to have dropping literally 2 days before Halloween.
Right?
And it's also our first episode that we've done since we started this podcast that's Halloween time. Like,
right?
This is spooky season.
Look at us go. We've grown up so much.
I know.
So today we will be talking about what will be a few different episodes of the Universal Monsters. We are going to the year of our Lord 1941, our Lord being Lon Chaney Jr. in The Wolfman.
That banging you might be hearing on the microphone, that is Jason Michael literally holding a cane replica from the movie. So you might hear that a lot, and it's gonna.
When I want to make a point,
it's gonna remain in. And if you hear a howl and then a thud, one of us was a werewolf, and one of us killed the other one,
and the body hit the floor.
Let the bodies. I'm sorry. Never mind.
But this is my personal favorite. Not only of the Universal Monster movies, but my personal favorite monster.
Yeah.
And the fact, I'll continue to come back to this several times during this episode, but it's the only Universal Monster to be played by the same actor throughout all of his appearances. And it's all accredited to Lon Chaney Jr.'s acting, his upbringing. Everything about him is fantastic for this role of Larry Talbot and the Wolfman.
Yeah.
Before we take the deep dive back into old 1940s England, Rob, what's been keeping you up at night?
Oh, buddy. I watched not a whole lot this week. I ended up watching a movie called Cobweb, which was actually a suggestion from my brother. And the way he suggested that I watch it was, don't watch the trailer, don't read anything about it, just fucking watch it. So it is currently streaming on Hulu, and I did that. I didn't read anything about it, I didn't watch the trailer, I just hit play. And boy howdy, was it a fucking ride. Highly recommend doing it the same way. Don't read anything about it, don't watch the trailer, just watch it. I ended up watching the first release trailer for it after I finished the movie, and even the trailer doesn't give you much. It kind of does what Barbarian did, so it's a huge misdirect. But it was fucking fantastic. There's like multiple twists. The way the movie starts, you're like, oh, it's going to be this kind of movie, and then it's just like, just kidding, and it completely switches it around on you, and it does it a few times. I ended up watching the Five Nights at Freddy's movie.
And?
Which, boy, was that a fun ride. I've only ever played the first two games, which are basically the same thing. There's not really much of a storyline to those games at all. It's just, you're a security officer at Freddy Fazbear's. That's about all you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, it started with no story, and then all of a sudden, I guess there's a whole lore to it.
Yeah, and I don't know anything about the lore. It did make me want to look deeper into it to see more about the games, which, you know, we could potentially do. Stay tuned to see if we actually ever end up doing that. But it was really good. It was a lot of fun. I liked the storyline they did for the main character. It had a lot of heart. So, and for a PG-13 movie, it had some pretty brutal kills in it. I was kind of shocked, but it was really good.
It's only PG-13?
Yeah, buddy.
Oh, I don't want to watch it now.
It's worth it. I promise you it's worth it. For somebody who doesn't know the lore of the games at all, I enjoyed the movie quite a bit. So,
Okay.
I also ended up watching the new South Park special. I know this isn't horror related whatsoever, but it is hilarious. Watch the Panderverse. That's what it's called. Yeah, it's on Paramount Plus. It's really good. It was fucking hilarious. It just made fun of Disney the entire time. Totally
Nice.
worth the watch. Other than that, I have been listening to stuff. So I finished Holly, Stephen King's latest book. I've been listening to it. I haven't been reading it. I don't really have the time to read, so I end up listening to audiobooks quite often. So now that I finished Holly, I was looking for another audiobook, something horror related to listen to on my drives to and from work. And I found out that it's labeled as one of the most disgustingly disturbing books ever written. They ended up turning it into an audiobook, and I was like, all right, cool, I'm going to get this and listen to it. It's called Playground.
Okay.
And a few horror sites have written articles about it, said that it's exactly that. It's disgusting and disturbing. It's the most disgusting and disturbing thing ever written. I ended up actually hearing about it through godless.com. It's like an independent writing website. Our good friend Sean, his short stories are all on Godless. Go over to Godless. You can buy all of Sean Belisle's stuff on there. The books generally run for like 25 cents, 75 cents, $2, stuff like that. It's all independent. But they also have like a little thing where they write about books to look into. Playground is one of them. I ended up also seeing on TikTok, there's a woman on there, forgive me, I don't remember her name, but she is like a horror book fanatic. And she said she couldn't get past chapter 7. And I was like, all right, cool. This sounds like my cup of tea. So anyways, I ended up getting the audiobook, and it is fucking gross, man. I haven't even gotten to what the book is about yet. It's just been introductions to characters, and the main bad character is fucking gross. Real gross. The descriptions of her lady parts.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, it's definitely not for the casual horror fan. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to finish it if the book goes where I think it's going to go. There are levels of certain things that I just won't touch on, things that I can't listen to or watch. And if it goes where I think it's going, I'm going to have to tap out. But yeah, so I'm listening to Playground. Other than that, I'm going to do a first time thing. The Boogeyman is streaming on Hulu right now. If you have not seen this movie, you need to fucking watch it. That's it. That's all I'm going to say. I saw it when it came out in theaters. It's fucking awesome. Watch The Boogeyman. It's on Hulu. That's it. So what's been keeping you up at night?
I'm still stuck on Playground. Okay. Jesus. Well, I mean, it's pretty much the bog standard October over here. For me, it's still a lot of playing Halloween games and playing games with friends. So lots of zombies, ghost hunting. I know it's not a Halloween or spooky horror game, but we are continuing our playthrough in all of the Halo games on Legendary difficulty. So me and my brother Doug started that, and now we've incorporated the rest of the Boo Boys with Tim and Ryan to play through the rest of that campaign, and it's made it more fun and somehow equally as difficult, even though there's all 4 of us. As for movies, what I've been watching over the past week. We had, of course, last week we had Chris O'Brockie on for our Halloween 4 Return of Michael Myers, the 35th anniversary edition. So there's that. Then I watched Werewolf by Night. I can't find what I watched on Tuesday, and I'm quite upset about it because I don't remember. And it's somewhere. But Wednesday was The Black Demon, Thursday was The Lost Boys, and Friday was very, very classic movie. I love this movie, Arsenic and Old Lace. It's a old comedy horror Halloween movie with Cary Grant, and it's fantastic. And it will always be a October tradition for me to watch that movie.
Yeah, I need to watch it.
Yeah, no, it's a great time. It does feel long when you like start watching it, but it is still a absolute fantastic movie. Other than that, not really horror, but continuing to watch through for the very first time the Grand Tour from the guys who did Top Gear, so Jeremy Clarkson, Richard Hammond, and James May. Just watching a car show, which I never thought I would do, but it's actually quite entertaining.
Interesting.
Yeah.
There was a show on Netflix a few years back. I can't for the life of me remember what it was called, but it was a British show, and it was a bunch of people who like repaired things. So like there was this duo of friends that would repair dolls and stuffed animals and stuff. There was a guy who would repair watches. And yeah, the whole show was just like a few people coming in and telling their life story as to like why this item was so important to them. And then they would show the repair process. And I can't remember what it was called, but man, that show was great. So I get the wanting to watch something like a car show. I get it. I just like watching like old things get fixed. I think it's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I always love the show How It's Made. And it's just like, even though there's some gross ones on there, like here's how hot dogs are made, and then you never want to look at a hot dog. But it's just the stuff that you wouldn't really think of normally, and then you watch how, for lack of a better term, how the sausage is made, and it's quite interesting. It kind of sucks you down a rabbit hole.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a chef, so like I know how a lot of that stuff's made. I used to case my own sausage at one of the restaurants I was the head chef at. Mm-hmm. So like I've done some pretty gross shit, but I've seen some gross shit. You just see gross things all the time working in restaurants. That's the underbelly of the beast you just don't want to know about. But that's it. Now let's get into this fucking episode. So before we jump into that, last week, not last week, 2 weeks ago, because last week we had the wonderful Chris O'Brockie in our live stream.
It's true.
But so I've been seeing this a bunch recently. And I'm looking forward to when we watch this movie so we can make our own fucking judgment. But I've been hearing horrible things about The Exorcist Believer.
Really?
Horrible. People are saying that it's damaged The Exorcist quote unquote franchise.
This is David Gordon Green, right? Not David Howard Thornton.
Yes. No, could you imagine?
It would be all sorts of fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, so they're doing with Exorcist what they've done with fucking Halloween. I'm sorry to anybody who actually enjoyed the Netflix Texas Chainsaw movie, but what they attempted to do with Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that movie was fucking not good in my opinion.
They're pulling the Halloween 2018.
Correct. They've already announced this is going to be a trilogy. They have 3 movies, but apparently this movie is not being received well.
Really?
At fucking all.
Huh.
And it shocks me. I'm looking forward to watching it because I know we're going to do it for an episode.
Yeah.
We had said we were going to do it sooner than later, but at this point, I think it's just maybe we'll save it till November. We'll watch it and then
we'll give October a month to chill.
Yeah. But they're saying it doesn't offer proper scares.
Really? The trailer itself is unsettling.
100% agree. I just don't understand what kind of scares are they looking for. Because if you've watched The Exorcist as many times as I have, that movie's arguably it's not scary in the sense of a horror movie. It's scary in the sense of you have no fucking control or power at this point.
And also any of the stories you know of behind the scenes.
Right. Oh my God. Yeah.
What was that documentary series on Shudder called? It was haunted movies or haunted movie sets.
Yeah, it was
cursed movies.
Cursed movies.
Cursed
That's
movies.
the one. Yep.
Yeah.
They did 2 seasons. There's a third that is done. I don't know where the fuck it is. But
Somewhere.
There's another season coming. But yeah, I don't know. It's not. I'm going to tell you, it's not going to deter me from seeing it.
No.
I'm excited to see it.
Yeah.
I'm going into it with The Exorcist in mind. I'm going to go in with the feeling that The Exorcist gives me, which is worry and joy, because that movie always just makes my skin crawl.
I'm gonna have to watch The Exorcist before we go see it, because I haven't watched The Exorcist in like 10 years, maybe.
Holy shit!
Yeah, no, it's been a minute. It's not because it was bad or I was scared of it or anything. It's just I never went. I should probably watch The Exorcist again, because I never thought they were gonna fucking go, hey, here's a whole rehashing and 3 new movies. At this point, I might as well rewatch everything.
Because The Heretic, Exorcist 2, is actually a really fucking good movie. It's decent. And it's getting a lot more traction now. I think people are starting to realize that the movie was actually good.
I still love like the opening scene in Exorcist 3, where the nurse is just checking the halls, and it's like, oh, cool, nothing's... And you're like, oh, cool, no, we're good. Whee! Yeah. Just the ghost with the hedge clippers.
I have to rewatch 3. That's one... It's been longer than 10 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, I gotta rewatch that one.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Well, we're gonna find out. Once you've heard this, people, if you've seen Exorcist Believer, hit us up and let us know your thoughts, because we genuinely want to know. Like we have mentioned in episode 2.
Yeah.
This is your fucking podcast. Like, we're just talking.
And again, whether we see it before this episode comes out, at the same point, we still want to hear from you. Like, what our feelings, our thoughts in mind, we still want to hear what you think. And you might bring up some stuff that we haven't even thought of.
Yeah.
So, by all means, reach out to us. Tell us what you thought about Exorcist Believer.
Yeah.
And
Please.
We will definitely be spoiling that when we both see it.
Yeah.
So that will be a live stream, so we can also hear about what you thought.
Off the cuff right now, too, while we're talking about you guys reaching out to us, we, as you already know, we have announced we're going to be doing a Scooby-Doo episode. We're going to bring in...
That wasn't even my best one.
It was still really good. Zoinks! Don't spit your water out. We're going to be doing... Probably picking our personal each top 5 episodes.
You're giving me way more leeway than I thought we were going to do, and I'm here for it.
3 isn't enough.
No, fuck no, dude.
Because then we're cutting hairs at that point. Now we're going to be going, all right, because I know both of us have at least 2 episodes that are tied in one place or the other. So we're going to do our top 5s. But what we'd like to do is we'd like you guys to reach out to us on Instagram, Spoiler Sleepover. Tell us your top 5s. We're going to go through, and whoever reaches out to us, we're going to see the top 5s. Whoever's closest to our top 5s, we're going to give you a shout out on the episode, and we'll reach out to you and get your mailing address, and we'll send you out some stickers, and you'll get a free sleepover invitation sent out in the mail. I'm sitting on these invitations. They're really great. I'm really proud of them, and I just want them to get into hands, man. Yeah. So let us know what your top 5 Scooby-Doo episodes are from the original series.
Yes, the original animated series. I don't remember how many seasons there are off the top of my head, but like 1 and 2 stick out to me as the best ones. Like 1 because it's the first one, and then the second one because they started having like the chase music.
Yep.
And it's just like, it's very Beach Boys-esque. I know it's not them, but it's like, that's what you think of when you think of Scooby-Doo. You think of the chase scenes that started in season 2.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna divide people really quick with one of my top 5 episodes because there's a character that gets added much later in the show that most people hate. Okay. Ends up actually being one of my favorite characters. Okay.
I don't know what or who it is. And I don't want to know until we record it.
You won't know.
That is completely fair.
I refuse. So enough of that. Let's jump into the very first of very many Universal Monster breakdowns, Cane Stomp.
I was sitting there waiting on that. The Wolfman from 1941, starring none other than Lon Chaney Jr., who actually took, at like the opening credits, he is the last person you see.
Yep.
Which, this was his first monster role. He's been doing, like, he never wanted to be a monster. He never wanted to follow in his father's footsteps. Lon Chaney Sr., who obviously infamously played the Phantom of the Opera, played the Hunchback of Notre Dame, or Notre Dame, many different characters, the Man of a Thousand Faces, who literally did his own makeup for everything.
Yeah.
You see, there's a few different shows and movies that have tried to recreate it and recreate the stuff that Chaney Sr. has done, and it comes nowhere even close.
No.
Like, the closest thing I will say is there's a old Route 66, I believe the show is called, episode with Karloff, Peter Lorre, and Lon Chaney Jr. And in the beginning of it, it's Lon Chaney Jr. with his grandson, Ron, or his son, I think. Mm-hmm. Either way. And he's dressed up as the Hunchback. And he's got the Hunchback makeup on. It's a great episode.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's
What's the show called?
I think it's called Route 66. The episode is Owl Pellet and Eagle's Wing.
That's a fucking title and a half, Shell.
Yeah, I'm gonna... Or
Title power.
Lizard.
Sorry. Interesting.
They're the world's most fearsome fighting titles. Yeah, I'll definitely send it to you. Because I gotta remember what the fuck it's called. Either way, like, the closest that anybody could get to Chaney Sr.'s makeup was Chaney Jr.
Yeah.
And chances of him actually putting it on himself, probably low, but at the same point, he probably had it, no, it needs to be like this.
Right.
But, as I was saying, it stars Lon Chaney Jr., it also has other famous Monster and Universal alumni. We've got Claude Rains as Sir John Talbot, and of course, Bela Lugosi as Bela the Gypsy. You got 3 monsters right there, but only 1.5 is actually being a monster, which we'll get into that in a second.
Also, the funny thing is Bela...
Bela as Bela. Woo!
But he's also, like, arguably the only scary creature in the movie, and he's not even a fucking creature. Just because of how toweringly daunting he was as a human.
I will say, for the first time I saw this movie, I did not know that was Bela Lugosi.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because, like, all it took was a mustache to throw him off of being Dracula. Like, John Carradine as Dracula in the House of Frankenstein or the House of Dracula was like, oh, okay. I mean, he's no Bela Lugosi, but he's Dracula with a mustache. He's a bit more suave. He's younger, even though he's still probably like a couple 100 years old.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bela Lugosi with a mustache was like, whoa, who the fuck's that guy?
He looks so handsome. Look at that mustache.
Look at how suave.
He's just twirling the end of it.
Good. At the beginning of this movie, we are started with hands reaching to an encyclopedia. It opens it up, flips to a very specific page very quickly. I don't know how the fuck you do that in an encyclopedia. Especially with, like, the amount of pages that were in that book.
The other pages were stuck together.
Yeah, gross.
Words excite them.
Yeah, especially with the topic that is in this book, I'm real worried about them. Flips to the page about lycanthropy, which is, of course, werewolf disease, pretty much. You know, where, like, the moon in the sky, the full moon turns them into a werewolf. If you get bitten, you turn into a werewolf. Only thing that can kill it is a silver bullet.
Right.
All the myths about werewolves that we know came from this movie. All the stereotypes all came from this movie.
In every aspect except for physical, I am a wolf. That's what I think of every time.
I hated that. Oh, sweet Jesus. Yeah, so we learn a little bit about a werewolf, and it's like, in Talbot Castle, in the little village, there's rumors about this creature still to this day. But the movie starts off in a very joyous and happy way. He's driving up to Talbot Castle with his driver, who goes, Talbot Castle, Mr. Larry, and they're both just very like, like happy driving the car. And my personal favorite thing about driving car scenes in old movies is the driver's always going, oh, just steering the car all over the road.
So aggressive.
Yeah.
Like they've never driven a car before.
Yeah, but the car is completely straight, but it's like, I can't control this.
Could you imagine if that was actually how they had to drive back then? Because there was just no control.
There was no power steering.
Everyone's
on those old
just
cars.
jacked as shit in the arms from driving cars.
But they have to wear suits because they're modest people.
Yes.
They don't want to go around just going, look at these. Anyway.
Look at my muskets.
Give me a few moments. I have to reload these. But he goes up to the castle. He's greeted by John Talbot or Claude Rains, who Lon Chaney is the only American in this movie because Talbot Castle's off in England, so he's returned home after 18 years.
There really wasn't another American in the movie?
Not that I can think of.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, they all have slight accents, whether or not they were actually American, but they were also putting on, like, I'm pretty sure Evelyn Ankers was American.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, but like they all had faint accents.
Right.
This yeah. But he's been gone for 18 years. He came back because his brother, who is identical, and it's literally just a portrait that you see over the fireplace, which it's like, whether you put that up in mourning or whatever, but damn, that's a giant fucking portrait of your dead son.
Yeah.
Right over the fireplace, keeping you just, hey, your kid's dead. Yeah. Oh. Daily reminder. Thanks, John.
Different times.
Yeah.
I mean, if you even go back Old West times, they did death portraits.
Yeah.
They just prop up dead people and dress them up and take pictures of them. Don't have to worry about them moving.
That's fair.
Just falls over.
Yeah. Damn it. But yep. So John Talbot is there, on the wall in portrait form. His brother John, and then there's Sir John, whose dad Larry is the son who looks identical to the dead brother. Hunting accident, dead brother. That's why he came back after 18 years. He's been gone. He's been studying. He's been keeping up with his dad because, like, he left and everybody was kind of just like, oh, well, Talbot doesn't mean anything anymore. The whole name, this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah.
He goes, well, you left, but you've been keeping up with us. You are the heir to the estate. So after 18 years, he's returned, and he's like, hey, Dad, I'm sorry. And his dad's like, I'm sorry, too. Bygones be bygones. They shake hands. They're good.
Yeah.
We've also met Paul Mumford at the time, who was an old friend of Larry's. They used to snitch apples together, as he put it.
Snitch apples.
Yeah, or scrumping, as it's called.
Sounds kinky.
It kind of does.
I got scrumped last night. It was great.
Dude, I could hardly fucking sit, man. I got scrumped.
Yeah, someone snipped my apples.
But he is the chief constable of the town that they are in, and he refers to him as a cop, but he's like, cop? What's a cop? Which is, again, 18 years, Larry's the only American, and Claude, his very, very Cockney English father.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, huh. Which leads me into my next fact. Apparently, this whole original script was not supposed to be a father and son duo. It was supposed to be Lon Chaney Jr. was just a person that was hired to work on the telescope that's up in the attic.
Oh, shit.
Yep. Which would
have been a very different movie.
Correct. Which also the very next scene kind of makes more sense. Because, I mean, it can work as father and son. Because, sometimes when sons respect their fathers and they go, sir, and he goes, he's fixing the telescope or like assembling it. He goes, there you are, sir. I think that'll work. And he comes up the ladder. He goes, that's such precision work. Where'd you learn to do that? And he goes, optics company in California. No, I'm good with tools and everything, but when it comes to, space, I'm kind of an amateur. And he goes, oh, all of us are amateurs when it comes to the heavens except for one true master. It's like, okay. Or one true expert.
Yeah.
But like that scene right there kind of leans into the, that kind of makes sense.
Right.
Which, like, thinking back on the it's either 43 or 45, but Claude Rains is the Phantom of the Opera. Like, he's still very terroristic in that, but apparently the original script was supposed to be he was Christine's father. Very estranged and just, like, off to the side, watching, paying for her lessons, making sure she succeeds.
And see, that would have made the movie make more fucking sense.
Versus he's just some dude playing a violin and really simping for Christine.
Really simping.
Really simping.
No, I think
he's still like fucking 20 years older than her, and it's
it would
very
have really
unsettling.
changed. It really would have changed the feeling too, because at the end you'd feel sad instead of.
And he's dead.
All right, thank God that's over with.
Yep. So John goes downstairs And he's like, cool, it's lunchtime, blah, 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 blah. And Larry stays up there, looks at the now all of a sudden street level telescope, and is just looking around the town and finds himself staring in the windows of one Evelyn Ankers, or Gwen Cardliff? Gwen Conliffe. Cardliff. See, with the accents, it kind of throws me all the time.
Gwen Stacy.
No. Oh. Except for she survives this movie. Anyway, but Gwen, Evelyn Ankers, is in the shop next door, and she's got like these sparkly, spangly earrings with half moons on them.
Yeah.
And Larry's up there just going,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, put on your earrings, baby. Yeah.
dude, when I watched this originally, the first time, I was like, oh, he sees a woman. Cool. Yeah. Nowadays, Larry Talbot would get Me Too'd to fucking Jupiter.
Oh,
in
instantly.
a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Because when he goes into the shop, and it's just, he doesn't want to be like, oh, I'm Larry Talbot,
Right.
This will be my town soon. Again, the power dynamic that is kept under wraps would send this man to fucking Me Too jail.
That's a lot of movies of the era, too. It's just the men get what they damn well want.
Or else, woman.
I think the big one that stands out to me is the Phantom of the Opera that we saw, the more musical one, where the woman is clearly, she's holding all the fucking power.
Yep.
She's got two dudes who want her, and she doesn't really know which one she wants, and we find out she really doesn't give a shit.
No. Pay for my dinners.
Yeah, she's getting dinners. That's all she gives a shit about. Feed the woman, she'll be fine.
Yes. So he goes to the shop next door, sees Gwen, and she's like, what can I interest you in? He's like, got something specific in mind, looking for some earrings, with the spangly moons and stars or whatever. And she's like, well, we don't have any about that. And he's like, well, yes, you do. They're up on your dresser upstairs. Can you go get them? She's like, those aren't for sale. It's like, well, they look so gorgeous on you. I can't blame you.
So creepy.
And it's like, well, let's derail that and move on real quick.
Yeah. Sir, you are red flagging it real hard right now.
He's like, well, if I can't have those earrings, I'll, looks to the side and goes, I'll buy a cane. The first thing that he sees to go, all right, moving on. Which also becomes a very pivotal plot in this movie. He looks at the canes, it starts going, and Gwen's like, all right, creepo, how do you know about the earrings? He goes, oh, I'm psychic. Every time I see a pretty girl, I just know everything about her, just like that. And it's like, what the fuck?
It's just terrifying.
Again, love this movie. I love Lon Chaney Jr., but damn.
He didn't write the dialogue.
No, he did not. He
Can't
just
believe it.
acted it, and he acted it to the best of his ability. She asks, well, that's weird. Is there anything in, like, a specific cane that you're looking for? And he goes, oh, no, not really. And she goes, how about this one? It's got a little, I think it's a gold top. He goes, no, that one won't do. As he starts just staring at her, just going, I don't think that one. She picks up one, and I love this line. It's like, oh, it's got a little dog on it. That will suit you. Just being like, fucking dog, you pig, get out of here. It's like, fucking got him. He's like, no, I don't think that one will do either. He looks in, picks up a specific cane, and goes, oh, this one looks nice. We make a great putter. And puts it down and starts pretending to putt with it. Picks it up and goes, oh, that's funny. It's got a dog on it. She goes, that's not a dog, that's a wolf.
It's a wolf.
It's a wolf. Gwen notices that he's got the werewolf cane, and he goes, it's got a star on the side of it. And it goes, yeah, it's the sign of the werewolf, the pentagram. Even a man who is pure at heart and says his prayers by night may become a wolf when the wolfbane blooms and the autumn moon is bright. And that like changed in the very next movie of Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, where it's like, and the moon is full and bright. And it's just like, fucking keep to one thing, please, guys.
No, it's
Autumn moon is bright, or the moon is full and bright.
all different things. It's
Yeah.
the moon. It's
Look up there. Is the moon a circle? Cool. Run. You're screwed.
the period.
So
Ginger snaps.
I tried looking up a conversion rate or whatever to this, but after that whole thing, he goes, if you're trying to scare me, it won't work. And she goes, like, there's an audible sigh and like, God damn it, just get the fuck out of my shop, dude. Where it's like, well, that cane is priced at £3. And he goes, £3? $15 for this old stick? And, $15 for the time in 1941 must have, definitely was something. But I was trying to look up the conversion rate of, is £3 actually $15 at that time? Of course, Google was not helpful in just giving me the conversion rate to now, which is the dollars that this cane would be worth is like $2,000.
Yeah.
Maybe two and a half.
Jesus.
Well, again, because it had a silver cane or a silver top.
Right.
So she goes, that's why it's so expensive, because the top is pure silver. So we're getting a lot of exposition about werewolves, reasons, and how to specifically kill a werewolf. But we don't entirely know that yet.
Correct.
So he's like, well, anyway, I'd like to try out my new cane and, get to know this place a little bit. How about dinner tonight? She's like, no. He's like, cool, I'll see you at 8. He's like, no. They go outside.
No means no, sir.
Yep. And they see the caravan of the gypsies coming into town, which was what they were called in the old movies, and now is no longer a appropriate term for them.
Yeah.
Fortune tellers, if you will.
Travelers.
Yeah, travelers, fortune tellers.
Vagabonds, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, Maria Ospinskaya and Bela Lugosi, because we only meet 3 others, but it's all in like...
Yeah, there's 3.
Yeah, it's like, quick, bye, goodbye, all right, get out, scram, scoot, skedaddle. So he's like, oh, what is that? Oh, well, they're coming to town. They make their way this way all the time, like yearly, so they can set up a whole fair and things. So he goes, you know what? I haven't had my fortune told in years. How about tonight at 8? No. And then she goes back into the shop and he goes, see you at 8. And then she draws the blinds, like, get the fuck away from me, dude. Larry goes back to the house, talks with John Talbot, and he's like, yep, that's the mark of the werewolf, all right, and learns more exposition. And he goes, oh, well, the girl at the shop next door was telling me all about it, but I didn't believe any of it. And he goes, oh, you met Gwen. And he goes, so that's her name. More red flags.
Cane stomps.
It's just like, Larry, please, buddy. Please. So, he goes out and basically he goes to the shop at 8. Gwen walks out. You see Larry standing off to the side on like some steps, and he walks down, sneaks up right behind her. She turns around and kind of startled by him. She's like, oh, you startled me. And he goes, well, I thought you said no to tonight at 8. And she goes, oh, I'm not waiting on you. And then calls her friend out.
Yeah.
Which is perfect. She goes, Jenny. And Jenny comes out and you see Larry's face go, fuck. You cock block.
Yeah, well, she said fucking no, bud. No means no.
So Jenny comes out and goes, oh, it's nice to meet you, Mr. Because he still doesn't want to go Talbot. I'm going to be your lord soon.
Yeah.
He goes, just call me Larry. She's like, if you say so, Mr. Larry. Like,
Mr. Larry.
It looks like Jenny is starting to flirt with him, or Jenny and Gwen were talking during the day, and Gwen was like, this fucking guy just came into the goddamn shop and wouldn't take no for an answer.
She was just like, I'm lonely. I'll take him.
Yeah. So they all go out. They also make their way past the little patch of wolfsbane, which is something that werewolves don't like.
They sure don't.
Yep, because Jenny then goes, even a man who is pure at heart. And Larry looks over at Gwen like, oh, this shit again. Huh? And goes, so you know that old adage too? It's like, yep, wolfsbane? Bad for wolves, bad. Larry's got his cane with him, his silver-tipped cane with the wolf's head on it and the 5-star pentagram. And they go out. They meet Bela the Gypsy, who you see only riding the caravan to start. Mm-hmm. And then it's, boom, it's Bela Lugosi.
Yep.
It's like, oh, shit. It's like, okay, we're here to come and have our fortunes told. And he goes, yes, but I can only take one at a time. And just brings Jenny in. She wants to get her fortune read first. They go into a little tent to have her fortune told.
Yep.
So Jenny sits down with Bela. Larry goes, we didn't come all the way here to listen in on Jenny now, did we? And you see Gwen just go like, look back, just kind of, ooh, okay, all right. And they take off on a walk on their own.
Yeah.
Gwen went no to, okay, real fucking quick.
Yep.
So they start walking, they're talking, and it goes from like really unsettling to, hey man, again, no.
Yeah, it gets rapey real quick.
Yeah, they start walking away. Jenny's starting to have her fortune told, which Bela looks at the wolfbane that she put on the table and he throws it on the ground. He throws it on the ground and he goes, cut the cards. She splits it in half and wants to know, when will she get married? Mm-hmm. In the meantime, they're walking away and she goes, so how did you know about my earrings? And he goes, you could see a lot through the lens of a telescope. And she goes, fucking what? Yeah. Telescope? He goes, I was only just adjusting the lens and then I saw straight into your bedroom window. She goes, I'll be sure to draw the blinds next time. He goes, well, don't do that. Not on the count of me. Well, you know what I mean.
You smell different when you're sleeping.
Your eye fluttered last night only 253 times. But she goes, I'll be sure to fucking draw them blinds next time.
Yeah.
And he gets like, oh no, you know what I mean. She goes, you should know that I'm set to be married. I am engaged and I'm gonna be married soon. Basically, it was like,
yeah.
It ended up with him going, why is that going to stop you? Leans in and tries to kiss her. At the moment that's happening, Bela Lugosi goes, your hands, please. Mm-hmm. And the werewolf will see the pentagram in the palm of his next victim. He looks in Jenny's hands and goes, your right tells your past, your left tells your future. Sure. Looks into her palms and sees the pentagram appear, and he goes, go quickly, yeah. Go. She takes the fuck off.
That scene is in House of a Thousand Corpses, which is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I remember seeing House of a Thousand Corpses when it first came out in theaters, and that showed up, and I audibly went, awesome.
We're going to have to do a Firefly trilogy breakdown, too.
Oh, buddy, yeah.
I'm all about it.
I want to actually, speaking of Rob Zombie, I want to do an episode on Lords of Salem.
I haven't seen that one.
How am I not surprised?
I mean, I wanted to, and then it just kind of fell off my radar.
It is one of the few that Rob Zombie fans are divided on.
Yeah.
I've never met anyone that was like, that's okay.
That came out after H2?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because it was like Halloween 3? No, Lords of Salem.
Oh, I absolutely love that movie. There's so much, and it's going to be...
There's a goat masturbating.
You can't watch it once. Okay. You got to watch it twice because you're going to miss 1,000 things on your first watch.
Okay.
There's so much behind it. But yes, anyways, Rob Zombie is a huge fan of Universal.
I saw him live twice, and at both of them, he had the giant banners of like Frankenstein, Mr. Hyde, the Wolfman. Yes.
I've seen him 7 times.
Fuck yeah, dude.
I was going to go this time too, but...
Anyway.
Yeah.
Bela then she starts running. Bela puts his hands in his head in his hands. Maria Ospinskaya shows up and just looks over at, which we will find out, her son, Bela, who's just like starting to wolf out.
Yep.
And then you just hear a wolf howl, and Larry and Gwen go, what was that? Followed by, no matter what volume I put this movie on, that scream that Jenny lets out still makes me just press the volume down a little bit more because I don't want people in the house to just go, what the fuck was that? It's such a loud, terrified scream. It's so good. So Larry takes off to go see what that is, and Gwen's like, you just gonna leave me in the woods by myself? He takes off, finds a dog wolf, ripping at the body of Jenny Williams. Now, couple things here. One, the theme song of this movie is on par for me with one of the top theme songs of the horror movie and Universal movies, next to Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Love it.
Which...
It's my favorite.
You heard me earlier when you showed up. Yeah. I was still watching The Wolfman.
Literally humming and
I was doing... So there's that. It's a great theme that you'll constantly hear, especially with every single instance of a wolf in this movie. And then continuing on with the more appearances of the Wolfman.
Yep.
So the dog that Larry goes at, which is the wolf, it starts wolf, and then there's another scene where he's fighting a man, but the dog that he is fighting is actually his dog, Moose.
I feel like I already knew that.
Mm-hmm. It might have been from the Camp Nightmare episode where I said that fact, too.
It probably was. There's been so many of those episodes, it's hard to remember what I have and haven't heard at this point.
Yeah, but like... Lon and Moose would take a walk around the studio constantly, just walk the back lot in the old English village town.
That's awesome.
So
Moose.
So basically Moose is like, oh, we're playing. Like you can see Larry just like bop him on the snout. Just go, no, stop it. And just like, he's like, we're having so much fun. Transfers over to it's a man all of a sudden.
Yep.
Pushes the man back, uses his silver cane to then start beating the man to death. In this instance, he's killed the werewolf, or the wolf that we know of. We don't know it's a werewolf. Well, we do. He doesn't.
Right.
And he also got bit.
Mm-hmm.
So, he got bit in the chest.
It's a weird place to get bit.
Seriously. But he got bit in the chest. Gwen comes up, finds him. And he's just like, there's a wolf, Jenny. Maria Ospinskaya rolls up on a wagon, sees him, and basically has just, to herself, gone, oh, fuck. Because she sees her dead son.
Yep.
And then she sees the fact that Larry was bit and goes, fuck. All right. We'll take care of my son's dead body, but now we got to deal with this guy who's going to be going through the same exact shit.
Oh, yeah.
And she kind of takes on a motherly approach and role to him through this, and Frankenstein meets the Wolfman as well. But Maliva, I keep calling her Maria Ospinskaya, the actress's name, but Maliva is her name. Her and Gwen bring Larry back to the Talbot estate, which they kind of hear like a thud at the door, and there's Paul Mumford, the chief constable, and John Talbot sitting talking, and they hear like a thud, and they just look at the door a lot earlier than it looks like they were supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of the butlers opens the door. Larry falls in. Maria dips the fuck out because she doesn't want to be there and doesn't want to be questioned. And it's like,
I don't blame her.
Yeah, he's like, well, the woman that was just here. Yes, I saw the woman. Where'd she go? But it doesn't really look like it, but Larry's clothes are apparently ripped and torn and bloody, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
They bring him upstairs. They call the doctor. It's cut to a scene with one of my favorite characters in this movie. They're out in the marsh looking. They find the body of Jenny Williams, and they find the body of Bela. But we are introduced to Mr. Twiddle.
Twiddle!
Who is so nervous and a bit squeamish, as he puts it.
Yep.
Just a short, little, stout, portly man runs up with his little notebook, and you just hear Paul go, "Take a note, Twiddle." He goes, "Yes, sir." And he's just sitting, "Jenny Williams died by severed jugular." And it's just like, what's wrong with you, Twiddle? A bit squeamish, sir. And then it's just like, Jesus Christ. They pick up the stick next to Bela's body, which is Larry's cane, and he goes, "A stick with an horse's head on it." He goes, "That's not a horse, that's a wolf." "Them tracks back there, sir. Wolf tracks."
Yeah.
So it's all coming together.
Weirdest horse I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, we are looking at my cane right now. It's like, I can kind of see where he'd get horse.
Especially if you look at the face square on, it has horse teeth, not wolf's teeth. Yeah. Hello, I'm a wolf.
It's so growing up, my dad and I, he'd play the game. It's like, you're going to learn makes and models of cars because he's an auto body repair technician.
Right.
So you're going to learn the logos. You're going to get to know them. Mm-hmm. Whenever we'd see a Mazda, the front of a Mazda with the grill, it looks like a big smile, and the license plate hangs down like buck teeth. Yep. So every time we'd see a Mazda, we'd be driving down the road. It's like Toyota, Kia, Hyundai. At every fucking Mazda. But we will post pictures of the wolf cane on the Instagram.
Yeah, we'll actually post pictures of Jason Michael holding his wolf cane.
We'll put up a poll. Do you think this is a wolf, or does it look more like a wolf or a horse to you?
Yeah, we'll give you the straight on too.
Larry wakes up in the morning, in bed, and he basically like, "Whoa! Oh, cool, I'm in bed. Everything's all fine." Then he hears a knock at the door. Yep. It's the chief constable, the doctor, his father, which I can't remember the doctor's name, and I feel bad about it.
Doolittle.
No. But he's like such an even keel, level-headed character, especially when you have John Talbot, who's like, "I lost one son. I'm not fucking dealing with this shit again." No. And Paul Mumford, the chief constable, who's basically like, set out a witch hunt. Kill it.
Turned up to 11 the entire fucking time.
Whatever it is, I'm going to murder it, mount it on my wall.
Yeah.
But he's like...
That'd be an amazing ending to the
just Larry Talbot just... ah! Well, I mean, if you think about it, I had it with the death masks. They come in, and they're like, oh, how you feeling? I'm feeling much better, thank you. And just goes, is this your stick? And he goes, yeah, that's the one I killed the wolf with. And they go, Bela the Gypsy was killed last night with your stick. And he goes, no, I killed a wolf.
Yep.
They go, this was found next to the body. There was no wolf at all. And right now you're a prime suspect. They don't say that, but it's basically like...
Yeah. Times were different.
Yeah. So they're like, maybe we should give him a moment to rest. We'll come back later. And he goes, okay. Claude Rains, John Talbot's the only one who stays in the room with him. And he goes over and picks up the cane. And he's like, oh, don't worry about what they just said. But they're trying to treat me like I'm some sort of animal.
Yeah.
Fade to the outside the church graveyard area. Larry is outside smoking, just looking all shifty. It's a sullen tone in the movie. They bring Bela's body into the little crypt area, which he goes in and then has to hide because he hears the voice of Maliva and the pastor, and he goes, we can't bury this man without prayer. It's like, we've been doing this for centuries. I couldn't change that tradition if I tried.
Right.
He goes, well, fighting against superstition is as tough as fighting against Satan himself.
Yeah,
it's like,
Satan!
Hail Santa, kids. The pastor walks away. Larry's still hiding behind a pillar. Maria lifts the lid, and for years, I did not know what the hell she said because she kind of just rolls into it, and it kind of just like floods. She goes, the way that you walked was thorny.
Yeah.
Through no fault of your own. Praying over her son, basically. And as the rain enters the soil, as the river enters the sea, be at peace, Bela, my son. And
the way that you walk is thorny.
Yeah.
So weird.
I mean, through no fault of your own. So it's like you were dealt a shit hand with this werewolf business. I'm so sorry. You had no chance, no choice. I want to know the backstory of how that happened.
Yeah.
But who knows? I don't know. At the rate they're going with a bunch of reboots, another Wolfman reboot, but it's the story of Bela.
I'd be down to watch that. I don't know if they're still going forward with the Jake Gyllenhaal one.
Not Gyllenhaal. Gosling.
Oh, it was Ryan Gosling.
Yep.
It'd be better if it was Jake Gyllenhaal.
I feel like Gyllenhaal would probably give it better than Gosling.
They're both great actors. Mm-hmm. But I think Gyllenhaal he offers creepy.
Yes.
Very, very well. Yep. Nightcrawler, for instance. Oh. He kills it.
Yes.
Gosling, they're both attractive dudes. Gosling, I think, is just too fucking pretty.
Yes.
Gyllenhaal would just bring that shit, though.
Yeah.
But, I mean, with the way that they did The Invisible Man, I'm just hoping they follow that, man. Like, follow that fucking high.
That was supposed to be... that was supposed to be part of the Dooku, the Dark Universe, cinematic universe.
Right.
Which then fell off because it was supposed to be... Originally, it was supposed to be Johnny Depp as the Invisible Man.
God, they didn't do that.
I think it could have been good.
I'm so done with Depp. He doesn't play a character anymore. He just shows up and he's himself. The only time he's played a character recently that I can remember is in Tusk. He plays Guy Lapointe. Because he's not even credited as Johnny Depp in the credits. It's Guy Lapointe as Guy Lapointe.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I know Javier Bardem was supposed to be Frankenstein's monster.
I'm here for that.
Like, Tom Cruise was going to inherit the Mummy after the first Mummy. Because, like, I haven't seen it. We're going to have to watch it if we're doing the old one and then the remakes.
Yeah. That's future episodes.
Yeah. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde was Russell Crowe. And then
that would have been cool, actually.
Yeah.
Crow would have killed that.
Yeah. I mean, there's a brief moment, I guess, in The Mummy. I've seen, like, bits and pieces, scenes going, do I really want to watch this? And all of it was like, no. But Russell Crowe is basically like, lock my fucking office door, and no matter what you hear, don't come in.
Yeah.
But, like, Tom Cruise gets locked in there when he turns into Mr. Hyde, and it's a whole thing.
Interesting.
Then there was a whole other casting change, which I would have rioted, because this makes no fucking sense. Apparently, Dwayne The Rock Johnson was
Nope.
supposed to be a Wolfman at one point.
Nope.
What sense does that make?
That's like casting Momoa. Like, Momoa's a better actor than The Rock.
Yeah.
But we don't need meatheads playing these characters. This is why it worked so well with John Laney Jr. Is just simply because he wasn't giant or menacing.
I mean, the man was tall, but he wasn't like,
Right.
hey, I'm yoked, and if I get fit in a suit, you're gonna see all of my muscles.
Right. He's not threatening.
Yeah.
He's not the type that will tower over somebody with mountains of muscle.
Yeah.
We need somebody who's less
Terrifying.
Yeah. But I mean, no, I'm getting tired of seeing those two get cast and shit. I'm just getting tired of seeing fucking Tom Cruise in general. But
He is one of those actors that it's like whatever he's in, I have no interest in it. Which
for
made
sure.
me upset for the Mummy reboot, but then also the fact that the Mummy reboot just apparently was horrible.
It was not good. I did see it. That's why I said no. It's going to piss you off. It annoyed the hell out of me.
Oh, I entirely believe that.
To continue on this tangent, so I did a couple weeks back. We did a flashlight corn maze. So we walked through a corn maze at night. Now, to get through the corn maze, there were questions. There were 11 questions total that had, like, the answer you chose told you either go left or right or straight, whatever. So, and if you got the answer wrong, you'd find a sign that said you're lost. And you had to turn around and find your way back to the question and obviously choose the other option.
Which actor do you hate the most? Tom Cruise. Go left.
So one of the questions was hilarious. So I went with my girlfriend and my parents. And I got to the question first, and I put my flashlight on the question, and it said, it was a big, long question, basically, like, out of all of these actors, which one of these actors did not play Batman? And it was like, there was Keaton, Clooney, Val Kilmer, and then the last one was Tom Cruise.
I would not watch that Batman movie.
I didn't even give anyone an opportunity to even read the question because I got up to it and I was just like, oh, it's this way. I just took off. They're like, where are you going? And I was just like, it's D.
Oh, God.
It's Tom Cruise. And they were like, yeah, but what's the question? I was like, well, read it. You guys can catch up with me. Tom Cruise did not play Batman ever. That would have been horrible.
I mean, the man's also fucking tiny.
I was going to say the shortest Batman ever.
Like, the Family Guy version of Tom Cruise is hilarious. They call him Tiny Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
But, oh, Jesus Christ. Anyway, Maria
Robin's
Ostenskaya.
taller than him.
Who's sidekick now, bitch?
Just slaps him on top of the head.
You know that old cartoon meme where it's Batman slapping Robin?
Yeah,
it's just Robin slapping Tom Cruise. No, but it's fucking Joseph Gordon-Levitt just bah!
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
That's too bad we never got to see that.
Yeah, but the whole thing of it's like, oh, you should go with your birth name. I like that name. Robin. It was like, whoa! But at the same point, it's like,
I said dumb out loud in theaters. I went opening night. They said that. I was like, dumb.
You're that guy when you go to movies.
When it's that stupid,
Yep.
somebody has to be.
Don't go in there!
I'm not that guy.
Fucking told you.
I hate that guy.
Thank you. But
Sorry.
Maliva and Larry are in the crypt. Maliva leaves. Larry goes up and basically gives like a pained face and a clenched fist of, God damn it, I just robbed somebody's of their son.
Yeah.
Convinced that, oh shit, I actually just killed a human. But he's still convinced that he killed a wolf.
Right.
So what happens after the funeral, or the seeing Bela in the casket? We cut back to Gwen and her father in his shop, which is also like their house.
Yeah.
And he's basically like, my dear, you should go up and get some rest. Don't worry about it. It'll be okay. And she's like, I can't rest after this. I'm just going to go sit down in the parlor. He's like, okay. He walks away. In comes the Karens of 1941. It is Jenny Williams' mother and her posse, her flock, because they're all just very, they're all very Crow-esque. But they come in and it's like, where is she? Where is that woman that got my daughter Jenny Williams killed? And her dad, Gwen's dad, is like, no, don't you speak about my Jenny like, or my Gwen like that. She goes, that's a fine father for you. Lets her daughter go off with other men, and when she's engaged to Frank Andrews. And he's like, now, you mustn't speak about my Gwen like that. I won't hear it anymore. She goes, I would like to know what she was doing while my Jenny was being murdered. And then you see Larry peeking in through the window, and he opens the door, hears that tail end, and one of the other women goes, I'll tell you what she was doing. He slams the door and goes, all right, tell me. And stands there with his cane, just like, go on, speak up.
Who else wants to get the shit beat out of him?
I swear to God. Silver doesn't only work on a werewolf, bitch.
It works on bitches.
Yeah, and they're just in there. And again, Karen's at the 1941 because Jenny Williams' mom goes, don't you dare touch me. It's like, I'm standing like 5 feet away from you. I'm not. Don't worry about it. She goes, you haven't heard the last of this. She looks up at Lon Chaney, who they cut to him as they leave. And he looks like he's about to fuck some shit up.
Yeah.
And then he kind of just goes, all right, deflate, de-escalate, and we're good. He goes to check in on Gwen, talks with her father, of course, checks in on Gwen. Then you hear the door open again. Here comes Frank Andrews, and he's got his dog. And he's like, is Gwen around? Yes, but she's got company. Larry Talbot? Yes. Good, I want to see him too. And it's like, oh, fuck. We don't know why.
Yeah.
But he goes in, his dog immediately starts barking at Larry. The dog knows what's up.
Dogs always know what's up.
Seriously.
Dogs, cats, babies.
Like in our episode when we were talking about The Thing, the dogs knew that dog is not right.
Yeah, that ain't no dog.
That ain't no dog.
It looked like one, but it ain't none.
I should have studied dog in high school. Should have studied Norwegian in high school. Fuck! The dogs could have told us.
Dog studies.
But he brings the dog outside and he goes, that's Frank Andrews. That's the man I'm set to be engaged to. Oh, he seems like a nice guy. What's he do? He's the game manager for your father's estate. Oh. Which is exactly the reaction he goes. You see him go, uh-oh.
Well, I done goofed.
He comes back in. He's very polite. He's like, nice to meet you, Andrews. Puts out his hand and Frank just stops and stares. Because he's got the cane, the silver cane that they found in one hand.
Right.
But he's also just like, okay, all right. And he goes, bye, Gwen. Takes off. She goes, Frank, why were you so rude? And he goes, sorry, I couldn't take my eyes off that walking stick of his. Gwen, don't go near him anymore. There's something tragic about that man.
Yep.
And like, which can be totally said about Lon Chaney Jr. as well as Larry Talbot. Like Lon Chaney's upbringing was all like vaudevillian, theatrical. He was a stillborn. His father smashed open a lake in February, dipped him in, and little Lon Chaney Jr. came out screaming. It's fucking insane, that story.
Jesus Christ.
But then they cut to the fair, where everybody's there. Doctor, Chief of Police, John and Larry Talbot, Gwen and Frank Andrews. They're walking around. Frank and Gwen just like, necklaces, cool. Oh, dancing, cool. You see Larry walk through. He sees Gwen with Frank and goes, oh, fuck. All right. Turns around to walk away and he goes, Larry Talbot. And he goes up and she's like, what are you doing? He goes, I just want to show you I'm not jealous or not holding any ill will. And they pull up right next to a little shooting gallery with little animals and characters that pop up. And he goes, 2 guns, please. So Frank and Larry are now having a shoot off. And it's like a tiger shows up. A lion or a bear shows up or whatever the fuck. Which apparently there was a deleted scene from this where Larry wrestles a bear. But they took it out because it wouldn't have made fucking sense.
No,
yeah,
it's ridiculous. I mean,
but it's like the werewolf strength coming from him.
I would still love to see it though.
There is a still image somewhere of that scene.
I have to find it.
You can probably find it on Google.
Oh my god!
But
tell me it's somebody in a bear suit and not an actual bear.
It's so washed out. I honestly don't even know.
Okay.
But so Larry's shoots the tiger, shoots the bear or whatever it is. It's probably a bird. And then a wolf pops up. Music trill, and he like puts the gun down, and Frank makes the most insensitive fucking comment. Like Gwen knows what he's been through. Frank probably knows what he's been through, but he goes, careful or he'll bite you. And Gwen's like, bitch. Of course, Larry takes the shot, but is all like PTSD'd right now that he misses the shot. And he goes, bad luck. Shoots it and goes, want to go again? He goes, no, I'm done. He takes off. And it's like, what the fuck, Frank? So Dr. Lloyd, Paul Mumford, and John Talbot are sitting watching, and they just go, He's high strung. I mean, all that just happened. Who's to blame him? So he starts walking off, and then Maliva starts talking to him. He's like, I don't want to buy anything. And she goes, you were bitten. You were bitten by the werewolf.
Yep.
And he goes, how do you know? And she goes, come into the tent. She starts telling him about Bela was my son. He was a werewolf. He bit you. Now you're a werewolf. And he goes, I just got to leave. And she gives him a little pendant, which is, I believe, made of silver or something. But it's a charm to help protect.
Right.
So she puts it around his neck and says, wear this over your heart. Yeah, it's a rickety old chair. She says, wear this over your heart. It'll protect you. And he goes, okay, what do you want for it? I'll give you anything. She's like, I don't want your money. Just go be safe.
Yep.
So he takes off. As he leaves, she goes around basically being like, whisper, whisper in other fortune tellers' ears. They start panicking, frantically start taking down the fair. Meanwhile, as that's all starting to happen, Larry runs into Gwen. Gwen goes, Frank and I had an argument. He's gone. And he goes, oh, that's too bad. She goes, what's that? Oh, it's a little pendant that one of the fortune tellers gave me. Here, you take it. She's like, well, I can't just take a gift without giving you anything for it. Here's a penny. Which, again, for the time, probably was a lot more. And he goes, it's never enough. And he leans in and kisses her. And she kind of kisses back.
Yes, she does.
But it's a very quick, 1 second thing. Because the fortune tellers are running around. It's like, oh, they're leaving.
Yeah.
And he goes, what? And then Gwen goes, I should leave too. She takes off and he goes, what the fuck? All right. What?
Everyone's running away from me.
Yeah. What's happening? There's a werewolf in camp, is what one of the fortune tellers tells him. And he goes, that's me. Oh, shit. Cue the montage of him leaning on a tree and seeing the wolf head in the cane, Bela, the fortune teller, Evelyn Anchors, Maria Ospinskaya, and just a whole, flashing montage. And then he goes home to finally, we see a transformation. And it's incredible. Makeup done by Jack Pierce and everything. He's going through his house. He starts seeing his arms are a little extra hairy. So he takes off his jacket and he's in a tank top and his pants. He rolls up his pant legs after he takes off his socks. His legs are covered in fur.
Yep.
And he just sits down in the chair and we see the progression, the transition, which I can't remember the name of. But it's basically 10 hours of applying yak hair.
Yep.
Yak hair to Lon Chaney Jr. to give him this look, which I'll sit here and I'll be like, oh, continuity. He was wearing a tank top and now he's out there in a button-up long sleeve shirt.
Long sleeve shirt, yeah.
But you finally see the Wolfman all tiptoe walking through the woods.
I love that walk too. Oh. It's genius.
Mm-hmm. It's unsettling. It's the hind leg kind of deal, like a wolf.
Yep. Most practical way to do that too, without having to build something for him to put on, be uncomfortable to wear, I'm sure.
I'm pretty sure they had those leg extenders in the 2010 Wolfman.
They did, yeah.
Yeah. But this is all Lon Chaney Jr. and him already being 6'3" or whatever.
Right.
Dude's fucking tall, so that's a terrifying Wolfman.
But he's shorter than me.
Yeah, but he's hunched while he's walking, so he still gives quite a short presence.
It's that he's hunched if a wolf were to be able to walk on hind legs.
Yeah, so he's walking through the woods. So he's walking around in the graveyard, which we find out. And then there's the gravedigger out there who's just working. He lights up a cigarette and you hear a wolf howl. He looks over and you just see the Wolfman standing by a tree. He looks and then drops his match and starts to panic because the Wolfman then goes at him, bites him on the neck, and kills him.
Yep.
Which, a slight bite turned someone into a werewolf, but as long as you can stop the werewolf, you'll turn into a werewolf. If you can't stop it, the werewolf's going to fucking kill you.
Yeah, it's like being bit by a vampire. If a vampire drains you, you're dead.
Yeah, a vampire just goes, a little taste.
Yeah.
Then you're okay, but you're turning into a vampire.
Yep.
Wolf howl, cue back to the little village. Mr. Twiddle is already run out of his little house. And then Paul Mumford's just like, you hear that, Mr. Twiddle? Of course I did. Otherwise I'd be snug at home in my bed.
Twiddle.
They go back to the graveyard and they're like, oh my God, his throat's been torn by some kind of wild animal. A wolf.
A wolf.
A wolf. Cue the next morning where it's you could see on the windowsill muddy paw prints slowly turn into muddy footprints.
So cool.
And then it's just Larry Talbot lying just in his bed, which real life Lon Chaney Jr. did have an alcohol problem.
Yes.
The man was very drunk. There's been several instances of like recorded history of Lon Chaney being drunk. Like he portrayed a Frankenstein-like character for a live event and thought it was a practice run because he was so drunk. So he was supposed to pick up a chair and smash it, but he picked it up and then slowly put it back down and just like stumbled through everything else as Frankenstein.
Jesus Christ.
It's so bad.
I knew he had a drinking problem. I mean, a lot of the big names back then did too.
Yeah.
It's just...
Yeah, drugs and alcohol for Lon Chaney Jr. But, so he, again, being hungover like that, he probably knew what it felt like and knew how to act, like waking up after being a werewolf and just going, God damn it, everything hurts.
Or he just really got into the role and got fucking absolutely plastered.
Man, I was a real wolf last night. Woo!
Just walking around in yak hair.
Larry, what are you doing? But he actually bit somebody's throat.
Actually did it for real.
So he looks down, he sees the muddy footprints, he opens his shirt, you see the pentagram on his chest, which originally, when he got bit, it basically was gone.
Yeah.
It healed overnight. It was like magic. People are like, you sure he's not just imagining this shit?
Yeah, that was when they came in to check on him the next morning.
Yep.
He then checks and is completely healed.
Yeah, there's no bite mark, there's no nothing, but it's like, I saw it there before. I just... He starts brushing away the muddy footprints like, oh shit, it happened. This is real. He starts brushing them away, goes up to the windowsill, starts brushing it away. Meanwhile, look out into the garden, which looks like the trees are cherry blossoms. It looks really nice.
Yeah.
But here comes Paul Mumford just looking up, being like, weird. This is where the tracks led to. Larry goes downstairs, meets Paul Mumford, Dr. Lloyd, John Talbot. And they're talking about it. It's like, oh, these tracks led right up to the house. Weird.
That's a weird quinky dink.
Yeah. Meanwhile, it's like, oh, time for church. Let's go. It's Sunday, everybody's going. And of course, there's the Karens of 1941 and other like townsfolk talking. It's like, strange, nothing happened before Larry Talbot showed up. And it's like, you watch your tongue. Don't you know that's slander? She goes, I know what I said. They show up in their car. Everybody goes inside. Larry can't look Gwen in the eyes. She goes, how are you, Larry? He goes, fine. Thank you. Goes in, and this is one of the scenes where, when I was younger, I forgot it ever happened, and then I remembered it happened, but I was like, what movie was that from? Because it's so unsettling.
Yeah.
They go into church. John is, of course, in the front pew. It is a very big church, and he's all the way up at the front. Larry stands in the back, and everyone turns and stares at him.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, shit. So he leaves. He can't stay. Yeah. He comes back to the house, which I misspoke earlier and said Paul Mumford, John Talbot, and Dr. Lloyd were all there. This is where they're all there. Originally, it was just Paul Mumford knocking on the door. And it's like, hey, tracks led up to this house. That's weird. Anyway, see you at church. They're talking about the animal tracks. I'm going to have it sent off to the Institute. They're all going to examine it and tell me what it is. Larry's like, oh, cool, I got to go. And goes, oh, we're going to have a hunt tonight. Try and drive out the beast. Or we can kill it. Who wouldn't want the head of a stuffed werewolf on their wall? Larry goes forward like, you son of a bitch.
Again.
Yeah.
It'd be really cool.
Yep.
Although it'd be a human head, so.
Yeah. Then Dr. Lloyd is like, I don't know about that. And Larry's like, oh, finally, somebody who might get it.
Yeah.
He's like, do you think this is just a delusion or something? And he goes, well, I'm pretty sure anybody who goes through stress can make up anything in their mind, blah, 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 blah. Because he goes, it's not a wolf, it's a werewolf. It's like, oh, werewolf? No such thing.
Werewolf.
Yeah. No. Because I was like, werewolf? What do you fucker. I got it. The light switch clicked. So then later there is the start of the hunt.
Yep.
And Larry is now in his second night as a werewolf. And he steps in one of the traps that they've set up. The bear trap clamps around his leg and he starts struggling. basically just kind of like tuckers himself out and passes out as a wolf.
It's tuckered out.
Yeah, here comes Maliva, gives the same speech she gave, The Way You Walk Was Thorny, which changes him back into Larry. Magic that...
Literally.
Seriously, yeah. The fortune tellers must have some form of magic because that's what happened. And he gets up and goes, what am I doing? What are you doing? So she helps him get the trap off, and then he kind of hobbles away, sees two guys, just go, you there, come here. It's like, oh, Mr. Larry, what are you doing? I'm hunting, same as you. And he limps off. And then here comes Frank Andrews and Paul Mumford, just like, who's that you were talking to? Oh, it's just Larry Talbot, sir. They just watch him hobble away. And it's like, that's really weird.
It's real weird, man.
It's really fucking weird. He goes down the street, back into town, and starts throwing rocks at Gwen's window.
Yeah.
And he's just like, I gotta leave. I gotta go. I'm just never gonna see you again. She's like, wait, I'll pack a bag. I'll come with you. And he's like, no. No means no, woman. Oh, how the turntables.
Yes.
So he's like, no, you're not safe. I gotta go out of here. I killed the man. I killed Bailey the Gypsy. I'm the werewolf, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, I don't care. We'll be okay. This charm that you gave me, it'll protect me. And he goes, no, who knows? And he sees her hands, and he sees the pentagram show up in her hand. And he goes, your hand? Oh, God, I gotta go. He takes off. She tries to, but her father's like, no. No.
Every sign points to you die.
He was a red flag. Now you're being a red flag. Stop it.
Knock it off.
Cue back to the house where Larry goes and tries to sneak away in his finest, darkest suit.
Yep.
Which the dark long sleeve shirt makes sense for this part. But, and his father goes, where are you going, Larry? He goes, Father, I have to leave. He's like, all the superstition's going to get put to bed right now.
Yeah.
So he ties him to the chair upstairs. After it was like, there's a part where you hear the real Claude Rains voice come out of John Talbot.
Yeah.
Where he's like, Father, I have to go. I have to get out of here. He goes, stop it.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, sorry, my bad. And he just goes, we're putting this shit to bed right now.
Yeah.
Puts him in a chair, ties him in the chair, and faces him to the window so he can see the hunt. And be like, we're going to kill this werewolf, and it's going to make perfect sense because you're not the goddamn werewolf.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. So he faces him towards the window, and he goes, Dad, because usually he called him father or sir throughout this entire movie.
Yeah.
And then he goes, Dad, take the cane. Please just take the cane. So Claude obliges, takes the cane, heads out into the woods, which we see the hunting stand with Dr. Lloyd, Paul Mumford, Frank Andrews, and a bunch of random other characters. John Talbot's gone out into the woods now. He's walking around with the cane. And then Gwen is also starts running around, and Maria Ospinskaya is out there too. And she goes, what's your hurry, Sir John? What? Frightened? It's like, no, you just startled me. That's all.
Stop creeping up on me.
Yeah.
There's a werewolf on the loose, woman.
Yeah. It's like, no, nonsense. You startled me. And she's like, so where were you going? Because he was going to the stand, but then decided to turn around and start heading back to the house. She goes, were you going back to check on your son, Sir John? And he goes, nonsense. I was just going. You hear a gun go off. And you go, yes, Sir John, you were going. Then he takes off. And we now know that Larry has broken free.
Yep.
Wolfman is out in the woods. And then we go back to the hunting stand, and it's, I swear I could have hit him dead on. And Dr. Lloyd, in the most smug fuck you way, just goes, don't you know, it takes a silver bullet to kill a werewolf. And it's just sitting there with like a cheesy shit-eating grin on his face. And Frank and
cockiest asshole.
Frank and Paul are like, you prick. We see Larry working his way through the woods.
Introducing our newest segment.
Oh, God, yeah.
Torch budget.
The torch budget of Universal monster movies. So, again, Rob showed up earlier today, and I was still watching The Wolfman because why not? It's The Wolfman. It's my favorite.
Fuck yeah.
And there are so many torches in this movie. Not nearly as many as others, but we got to think about it.
Frankenstein?
Yeah. You think about...
Bride of Frankenstein has more.
Oh, yeah. Because that's when they're like, we could do shit with this.
Oh, yeah.
So, Wolfman's walking around. torches are being lit. Evelyn Anchors comes out into the woods, and Maliva's like, no. You come with me, because if you go out into the woods, he's going to find you.
Oh, yeah.
You don't find him, he will find you. And she's like, oh!
Yeah.
So she takes off anyway.
She's stupid.
Cue the theme song again. It's great. As John's running through the woods, Evelyn's running through the woods, or Gwen is running through the woods, the Wolfman's running through the woods, and then he finds her, and it's a whole creep up to the camera. She screams, blood-curdling scream.
Dude, he grabs her so fucking hard.
Shakes her like crazy.
Dude, it's insane. Like,
yeah.
Every time I watch it, I go, acting was way different back in the day. Because, like, there's no, like, camera angle to make it look like it was rough. Like, he grabbed her for real that rough.
Yeah.
It was intense.
Apparently she passed out on set because it was a closed set, and also the fog that was around.
Yeah.
When she laid down, there was nowhere to go. There was all the doors were closed. There was no ventilation. So she passed out with the fog. The only reason they found her is because somebody tripped over her.
Holy hell.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yep.
Yeah, he drops her too.
Oh, yeah.
And she just goes down like a sack of potatoes.
Yep. While this is happening, again, the torch budget going through the roof. Yeah. They're all starting to chase. We're sitting there going, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Bunch of torches. So Larry is about to bite her, and then you see John Talbot show up. Just goes, oh shit, werewolf.
Yep.
So Larry drops Gwen fucking hard. She goes
so hard.
And then Wolfman versus Father fight, which this, compared to the remake, this I love. I cannot stand the double werewolf fight. I hated that plot twist. When we get to remake versus original, I will get there.
Yeah.
Anyway, a fight ensues with Claude Rains and Lon Chaney Jr. rolling around, and Claude is a fucking tiny dude in comparison to Lon Chaney Jr.
Oh yeah.
And it's like they're rolling around on the ground. Like, the stick is not actually hitting him. It's kind of just like, well, the cane top's not hitting him. It's the stick that's kind of like bopping him on the side. So it's not actually wailing on Lon Chaney.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Frank, Paul, Dr. Lloyd, the whole torch army is coming through the woods because they heard Gwen scream. He drops the Wolfman, beats him to death with the cane. And then he's sitting there just going in that crazed Claude Rain look, and Maliva shows up, goes over to the Wolfman, does the way you walk was thorny.
Yep.
Blah, 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 blah. Be at peace, my son. As the dissolve is happening, and Claude Rain see that he just beat his son to death.
Yeah.
Who was the Wolfman? He was right this whole time. Oh my fucking God.
Yeah.
And he kind of like kneels down, but like collapses in a way right next to him. Maliva leaves. Frank shows up, finds Gwen. And he's like, oh, my love, I'm so happy that you're okay. She looks over and goes, Larry! And then cries into Frank's arms. And that is the end of the Wolfman.
It's all of the Universal monster movies are the most abrupt endings.
They really
ever.
do. They really do.
It's literally monster dead, movie over.
So yeah, that is 1941's The Wolfman, my absolute favorite Universal monster. It's really close, tied up there with my second favorite, but we will get to that at some other point. The Wolfman cannot be topped for me.
Yeah, I mean, Wolfman is third for me.
I know you're first.
Yeah. Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Can I take a guess as to your second?
Yeah. I can't wait to see if you're completely way off or like nail on
Bride.
Head. Way off.
Damn it. Dracula.
Nope.
Phantom?
Nope.
The Mummy.
No.
Is it Creature? Invisible Man?
Yeah.
Cool, that's my second.
Yeah, I love The Invisible Man.
I was like, there's no way it's the same one.
No, yeah, it is. No, it's Wolfman is third for me. All the other ones are interchangeable. And honestly, after rewatching The Mummy last year,
I think we should save that until we get to the end of the core 8, and then we can rank them.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, we'll do that.
Because like I have a good idea for my top 3. I've got a great idea. The rest, it depends. It's like a mood. It's I didn't really know that about the movie when I watched it before, or a feeling. Like currently right now, to the left of our setup, I have all 8 of the NECA Universal Monster figures. Just the colored editions. If I got the black and white ones, I'd spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
But now, because I got the Creature and the Phantom delivered on Wednesday, it is fantastic to see them all together and like looking at them, seeing the detail on the figures. It makes me appreciate them more. So, especially the fact that NECA all of a sudden was like, hey, you know what they didn't have when they made Sideshow Collectibles? The rights to their face.
Right.
So, like, when Dracula was like, Uncanny Valley Dracula, like he was Dr. Acula pretty much. And it was like, oh shit, now that's Bela Lugosi. That's Boris Karloff. That's Elsa Lancaster. That's Chaney Sr. and Jr. Claude Rains, I'm sorry, you're wrapped up in bandages. Ben Chapman.
It's definitely his hands, though.
Ben Chapman, you're in a fish suit. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah. No, the figures are amazing. I do like the black and white ones, but I'm more partial to like originality when it comes down to like the original style.
Yeah.
But those NECA figures, they're expensive. I own 1 or 2, and they're just too fucking expensive.
You know what fucking happened the other week? I went into Target because 19 Crimes did a specific special edition of their wine for Dracula and Frankenstein, which was sold out everywhere.
Jesus.
I bought it online and shipping was like 20 something bucks. And I was like, oh, great. It'll be there in a week. And then I emailed them. It's like, it's been longer than a week. And they're like, yeah, that's sold out. I was like, fucking really? Jesus. So they refunded me. And I looked online and Target said they had it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, let me quickly go there. Couldn't find it. And I asked somebody, I'm like, it says it's in stock. Dude walks out of the back with 2 bottles in his hand. I was like, you rule! Because I've been hunting for that since the summer when they announced it.
Right. Those the only 2 creatures they did?
So far, yeah.
Okay.
I would like to imagine, hopefully they'll do more. Like, I could see a Wolfman. I could see an Invisible Man.
You're just going to have to sit on those, let them age a little bit, and when you get married, that's what you guys pop.
Fuck!
There you go. You're welcome. I gave you the idea.
Well, I mean, if it's a Frankenstein and then they decide to do a bride, absolutely. I have to go get more of them just because of that idea. Because, I mean, guaranteed, it's a red blend and a Cabernet Sauvignon. Okay. So it's just the label, but at the same point.
Right, yeah.
It's cool.
When I drank, I was never much of a wine drinker, but...
I don't drink.
An alcoholic never complains when it's free. So I would drink whatever was handed to me, except for tequila.
That's fair.
Tequila makes me punchy. So I just... And not like I'm like witty punchy, like I like hitting people.
It wasn't a that looks good to drink. It was a that looks to drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like, it's alcohol?
Filter. But yes, the Wolfman, my top number 1. We'll get to the rest of them. Spaced out. Again, we've told you guys that this is going to be easily a couple months worth of content from our top 3s.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah. I mean, we've got, especially for Jason Michael's side of things, we've got all of the...
I just had to be this bitch.
Yeah, all the Universal monsters, and then 4 Halloween movies.
But we could do 78 and then the other 3 in one go.
Yeah, I say good luck to us doing that.
Yeah.
There's no way. We have so much to say about the second in the trilogy.
Yeah. I mean, also at the same point, we will have a guest on for that one, so...
Yeah. That'll be a fun one to do.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, tiptoeing Wolfman...
I was sitting here going, what's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? What's he gonna do?
How many tiptoeing Wolfmen do you give the Wolfman?
12,856.
Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Well, you know where I stand. It's still, even though it's my 3rd favorite, it still stands at a solid 8.5.
All right.
8.5 is, it always has rewatch value. Always, always, always.
That's respectable.
It's got comedy, even though I don't think the comedy is intentional.
Or aged well.
Yeah, or aged well at all. It's also got some sadness, man.
Again, Lon Chaney Jr. portrays sadness more than I've ever seen any other actor.
Yeah.
I saw the John Malkovich of Mice and Men before I knew that Chaney Jr. portrayed Lenny in the original of Mice and Men.
Yeah.
Watched it, it's an entirely different movie.
Oh, yeah.
Especially the fact of knowing that it's Lon Chaney Jr. And he plays it so well. He plays sadness so well. He plays happiness so well.
Yep.
But when it's distraught and sad, it's like, George, they're coming for me. Blah, 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 blah. It's like,
No.
Ah, you big teddy bear, you! Which, according to his grandkids, he was a big teddy bear.
Yeah.
He was such a nice dude.
Yeah.
It's just a damn shame about the alcohol and drugs.
Yeah.
Because that not only tacked on a lot of weight to him, but also shortened his lifespan.
Extremely.
Yeah, because he was not that old.
No.
Poor guy.
Now, some of us know we have a problem and do nothing about it. Others don't realize that it's a problem.
Until it's way too late.
The real rare few that realize we have a problem, we take care of it.
Yep.
And my God, I mean, my life was heading down a real dark path for a really long time.
And we're very happy that you got out of that, because you're coming up on 5 years.
5 years next month.
Good for you.
Yeah, buddy.
Good for you, buddy.
The second will be my 5-year anniversary.
Hell yeah. That's
crazy to think about, that 5 years. Most people don't make it 3. So.
Very proud of you.
Thank you. It's hard work. We're sticking close to, real close, actually. We're sticking with the Universal Monsters, and we're going to stay close. We were going to do another Wolfman, but you have changed your mind. Well, sort of. So what are we doing next week?
We will be talking about a monster mash of a movie. It has got several monsters. It's got great actors portraying all 3 of them.
Yep.
And it's got 2 really funny dudes. We are, of course, not talking about any of the houses.
No.
We are talking about Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein. It was regarded as not only the highest, meets movie that Abbott and Costello did, but, for the time, it was Abbott and Costello, the Marx Brothers, Three Stooges were a little bit later than that, if I remember correctly. Fucking Laurel and Hardy. And it was great. Oh my God, I could wax poetic about all that. The Bowery Boys.
Yep.
So great. So we're going to tackle that comedy horror movie next. And
the Wolfman's in it, so it works.
Frankenstein, the Wolfman, Dracula. It's Bela Lugosi reprising Dracula for the second time.
Yep.
It is, I will go on about this forever when we get there, but the fact that when you think of Dracula, you think of Bela Lugosi.
And if you're not, then you're wrong.
Correct. You don't think of anybody else. But the fact of the matter is, Bela only played Dracula twice.
Yeah.
He played him in Dracula and Abbott and Costello meet Frankenstein.
Which is crazy to think about, but it's also perfect.
Yeah. Dracula's daughter, son of Dracula, which was Lon Chaney Jr., House of Dracula and House of Frankenstein, which were both John Carradine.
Right.
But you only think of Bela Lugosi.
Yep. Unless you go even older, and then you go to Nosferatu.
Fair. And,
technically the original.
Yeah. And you can also think of Christopher Lee in the Hammer movies.
And who doesn't?
True.
The Hammer movies are unhinged and fucking amazing.
Yeah. And then, of course, Lon Chaney, the only one who has played the Wolfman, and loved Lon Chaney as Frankenstein, loved Bela Lugosi as Frankenstein, but there's only one other man that can get up there with Boris Karloff. It is Glenn Strange as the monster himself. Which, 2 fun facts. One I'll save until we get there. Haha.
You gotta wait.
Yeah. The other one is the fact of Boris Karloff actually did a little picture standing in front of the movie poster, just pointing up at it, giving a little sponsorship to it, even though he wasn't the monster.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And that man is fucking tall.
Oh yeah.
The picture of him with his little suit, just tall and just pointing up. It's you are a slender, tall gentleman.
He sure is.
Yeah. Man. We'll also post that on the Instagram with the pictures of the doofy wolf cane.
Yeah, our Instagram is about to
explode.
It's going to be taking a bit of a different turn, but in a good way.
Hell yeah.
Seeing as we're not rocking the weekly guest co-hosts anymore, we're going to start advertising way ahead of time on our guest co-hosts, because we want everybody to have plenty of time to plan, because for the most part...
Call out of work!
Yeah, right? Call out of work the next day.
Boss, I'm sick. I got to watch a podcast. What?
We, for the most part, we've got any of our guest co-hosts are going to be live streams, not audio episodes. We do plan on having a few of them be audio just for continuity, because we want to keep things working the same way. We don't want you to miss out. And we know it's difficult for some people to watch certain episodes, but some episodes are needed.
Oh, yeah.
That's why we had Chris O'Brien on the way we had him on.
Oh, yeah.
The way he always needs. He needs to be seen, not heard. Not just heard, but seen. So, as always.
Yes.
Is there anyone you want to thank this week?
I would like to thank, starting off again with you, as always. Tough shit, accept it, damn it. I would like to thank, again, all the wonderful suckers out there that continue to listen to this and support us through this. My wonderful missus over in England, I would like to thank her because she's very understanding of these things, whether it be Twitch streaming or the podcast, and knowing that I will be there to talk with her when she's over in England. But of course that there are things happening at the same time. She's very understanding, very wonderful about that and supportive. She is my number one cheerleader and I love her dearly. I would also love you. Like to thank Lon Chaney Jr. because this is when I started my Universal Monsters sleeve, the Wolfman was the first one I got.
Really?
Yes, it was the Wolfman and the Phantom, and we just worked our way down the arm.
Interesting.
Father and son right there. But again, the man portrays happiness very well, sadness incredibly well, and he birthed this character, which again gave all the legend of the werewolf,
Right.
and other reasons for the things. And it's a fantastic character, and he's a fantastic actor. So
Good.
you, sir.
Well, per usual, I want to thank all the suckers out there. Thank you for interacting with us more and just tuning in and listening. And it's amazing. I want to thank you, Jason Michael. It's just fucking amazing to have you back now. Like, genuinely, honestly amazing to have you back. It feels great to have my actual co-host. Not that any of you that came in weren't actual co-hosts.
Backpedal.
You all killed it. It was awesome. I had a lot of fun. Yeah. Thank you all. I'm going to thank my wonderful girlfriend for pretty much the same thing too. I mean, it just doing this does take time. We generally schedule like a day to sit down and do what we need to do, but it is full-time work. We're constantly talking almost every day about what's next. What are we doing there? It's all planning. So it takes chunks of time out. So thank you, Nicole, for being so patient, kind, loving, understanding, and immensely supportive.
Mm-hmm.
She's done some advertising for us and just gets the word out there. Other than that, as you heard at the top of this episode, and you're about to hear after our wonderful outro song,
Foreshadowing.
Yeah, I want to thank Willow Tree Kitchen for the awesome just support.
Absolutely.
Being our sponsor, making amazing vegan food. And
we got a sponsor, dude.
Yeah.
Well, you fucking got a sponsor with this. Like, that was all you.
Anna's awesome. She's a genuine, she's a sweet human being through and through. And stay tuned. We have something coming that we're going to be doing with Anna in the future. And we're very excited about it. So once we know, you'll know.
Oh, yeah.
But until next week, sleep tight, suckers!
Thank you for listening to this episode of Spoiler Sleepover. But the fun doesn't stop here. Go follow us on Instagram at Spoiler Sleepover and check out our website www.spoilersleepover.com. It'll be fantastic of you. So until next time, sleep tight, suckers.
Spoiler Sleepover is sponsored by Willow Tree Kitchen.
Willow Tree Kitchen is a one-woman owned and operated bakery currently slinging delicious vegan cookies, mixes, and baked goods out of Kitchen Local in Amesbury, Mass.
Follow Willow Tree Kitchen _ on Instagram or go to their website at willowtreekitchen.com for more.